Up to, hey, Facebook. I hope that we are live, so I'm going to check my computer. I am the worst with technical difficulties. You'll learn that because it's just not my, it's not my area of expertise, but I put us in a little different place today. Yeah, so instead of being over there so that you have to constantly look over there, I have us facing this way, so we've got a little bit of the logo behind us, but we're going to try and see if this works. So looks like we're good to go. Ooh, tripped up? Okay, we're good.
All right. Just need, Krystylle, could you just give me a count back from 5 and test your mic?
No, she's doing a count really.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, perfect. All right, you two sound good.
Okay.
And did you want me to bring Katie in before we start?
You can bring her in. Yeah, that's fine. I didn't even haven't even thought about. I think that I'm going to interview Krystylle first, but yeah, you can totally bring in Katie and I can say hi to her before the show starts.
Okay, we're all connected.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Okay, Robert just wants to get a photo, so we'll just look at him real quick.
Okay.
There you go. All right, good.
And then I'll share the Google Drive. He'll have like photos and videos in there.
That'd be
and
great.
Yeah, so then you can have them for promoting and stuff. Yeah. All right, Facebook. So, hi, everybody out there. How are you today? This is Krystylle Richardson.
Hello, everybody out there.
Yeah. So, we are filming from a different angle today, and we'll see how that works out. See if I like it. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. Anyway.
All right, we'll get going here in 1 minute.
Hey, Katie, you there?
I'm here. How are you?
I'm good, girl. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Thanks for having me back.
Heck yeah. I'm super excited to see you next week. I've got to remind all my listeners who you are. And then I know today we wanted to talk mainly about the Movemeant Foundation.
Yes,
so we can talk about that and the upcoming dates, right?
Yeah, we have our event coming up, and we also have applications open for our scholarship program. So we'd love to chat about that as well.
All right. Awesome. That sounds great. So I'll interview Krystylle first, and then we will bring you in during the second segment. Does that work?
Yeah, sounds great.
All right, girl. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
And nice meeting you, by the way.
I got Krystylle in here. So
You too.
yeah, if you go on to
Krystylle.
Facebook, and click on Lead Up for Women in Facebook, then you'll be able to see it live. So you'll be able to see Krystylle sitting next to me.
I'm looking at you both right now.
All right, it is showtime.
All
Stand
right,
by.
thanks, Monk. Oh, good, because I want to be able to show this too. So that's awesome. I'm just going to get caught up with some
No problem.
stuff. You know how
Welcome
it is.
to Lead Up for
I don't
Women.
ever do a show by
Speak
myself.
Up to Lead Up
I
with
interview
Colleen
every
Biggs.
show. Oh,
Are
you
you
do?
ready to
Yeah,
lead
because
without permission
the
and take the
importance
steps
of my
needed to
show
live
is
your best life?
the
Whether you want to
interviews
start the
of
business of your dreams
women
or celebrate your
and their
present and
stories
future
and what they have going
accomplishments,
on.
I do
you're
both.
definitely in the
Yeah, it
right
just kinda
place.
depends on what I'm
Now,
trying to get
here's
out.
your host, Colleen Biggs.
Hey there, listeners. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're joining us from. You are listening to Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up, and I am your host, Colleen Biggs. And we have an exciting show today. But first of all, I want to get caught up with some exciting news. Yesterday, I got a report that we are now in 11 countries. So that is exciting. We were in, I believe, 7 or 8 countries before. Now we're in 11. So we want to thank all of our listeners for joining us. And we want to thank our Facebook fans for joining us on live. As I mention on every show, if you haven't already, you can go out to Facebook. It's universal. And you can go over to Facebook and find Lead Up for Women and like our page. And then you can go back and watch all of our videos so you can see some of the guests in the show. And I was just talking to my good friend Krystylle that's joining me in the studio today and telling her that I'm going to start doing Zoom so I can actually see or my guests that are on the show will be able to be seen by Facebook when we do it live. And I know I know that our listeners that are just listening by podcast aren't able to see them, but you can go out to our Facebook page and see them anytime. And in fact, I think I upload them on my YouTube channel too. So you can just go to Lead Up for Women and watch them on the YouTube channel. But podcasts are so nice because you can listen while you're driving anywhere. So we have a new magazine for my Facebook fans. You guys can see this new magazine that we have here. The beautiful Ashley Austin is on the front of our magazine, and she's the marketing manager for the Phoenix Suns here in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm super excited about the magazine, and I'm excited that I get to deliver her a bunch of copies this week. But my favorite part of our magazine, other than the coverage from the luncheons, are that we always have a 10 tips. And the 10 tips are a page that you literally can just rip out, and you can hang it up on your wall or wherever you'd like. If you're at a corporate office, you can put it in your cubicle, or something you can just put in a book. And in the morning, when maybe you're doing your gratitude, or when you are getting ready to meditate. I love the 10 tips, and these 2 months are 10 tips to strengthen your manifestation power. Wow. So I love it because it really helps anyone who maybe hasn't meditated or doesn't understand manifestation. These are just some tips on how you can strengthen that to stop those little voices that we have in our head. Those stupid little voices that tell us we're not good enough, and you're not smart enough, and you're not skinny enough, you're not pretty enough. What are the other ones? You're not going to get the job. Those voices. We all have them. And it's just a matter of controlling them, right?
It is.
Yeah, like we all have an appetite. Do you eat the entire cake, or do you eat a slice? That's what it's about. So we have so many exciting events coming up. So I want to cover them quickly before we get rolling with the stories of the beautiful ladies. And today is really about the foundations that they are supporting. And we want to have time for them to share in depth about their foundations, why it's so important to serve others and give back, and how that can really change your life. So let me get through the quick events that we have coming up. We only have 3 luncheons, ladies, left for this entire year, and we're going to be in, I'll start backwards. October 24th, we're going to be in LA. In October 10th, we're going to be in Denver, Colorado. And that invitation will go out next week. So if you haven't already gone over to our website, go to leadupforwomen.com and enter your information in on the newsletter, and then you'll get the newsletter of all the updates going on with us and all the latest resources and tools. The other luncheon we have is next week, and it's on September 12th. That is on a Thursday. If you're in the New York area, we would love to see you as a guest. And if you would like to bring a few people with you, I'd be happy to offer you a discount. So all you have to do is email me at info@leadupforwomen.com or contact us through the website. And I will extend that code to you so you can bring your friends. And by the way, we do feed you. It's always a really great lunch. Someone asked me that once, and it's a really great lunch, and we're excited for you to be there. And there's some amazing women to inspire us. So we have Laura, who's with Quest Workspaces, Katie, who's on our guest today. She's with Executive VP. She's the Executive VP at Audience Rewards. She's also a chair member of the Movemeant Foundation. And we have Andrea Adams Miller. She is the Executive Director for the Keep Smiling movement. And we do this now at every single one of our luncheons for the last 3. So this is an opportunity for you to have your photo taken with the Keep Smiling card. Those all go online to go viral. You'll see I've got a lot of links on our website. There's John Travolta, Matthew McConaughey, Les Brown. There's so many people out there that are participating, and we're Lead Up for Women's getting a book created so that we have a book of all the empowered women. I'm just super excited about all of the things that we have coming. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't already signed up or RSVP'd for our free webinar in September, it's September 17th. My really good friend, the Paleo Boss V, her name's Diana V. Capaldi, but I just call her V. She's a powerhouse paleo follower, and actually she's a trailblazer. She has MS, and they told her she wouldn't be able to have children. Basically, she wouldn't be able to live a normal life, and she's happy and healthy and and controls all of it through diet and has started going around and letting women know how they too can do that. I have a daughter-in-law who has MS, and one of our other panelist that's going to be in LA. Diane's also going to be in LA as a panelist, and one of our other panelists there, Jackie, she has MS as well. So this is really great. If you know someone with MS, if you have MS, it's going to be a really, really, really good, or if you just like the paleo diet, she's going to give us a lot of tips and tricks on that. And so that webinar will be at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on September 17th. So please join us for that. Okay, so that's enough news for me now to get to, and I want to introduce my first guest, Krystylle, who's in the studio with us today, sitting here. So I don't need to get into any explanation about you, because you're going to be able to tell our listeners and our viewers on Facebook all about you and everything you're doing. Krystylle also has a show here at Voice America. So why don't you go ahead and start and let us know, let the ladies and gentlemen that listen know a little bit about your story and how you got to where you are today, and then we'll get into your movement that you're supporting.
Okay, great. Well, first, I'd just like to thank you.
Yeah.
And all you're doing for women.
Thank you. It's wonderful.
So, I have a lot of different aspects of what I do, and specifically related to women. Is there a specific area?
Specifically related to women.
Is there a specific area that you want me to go into related to women?
No. I would love for you to share a little bit about why you have a radio show or, a podcast here with Voice America, what you do and what, your podcast is about, how you support people, and why you do what you do. Why do you get out of bed every morning? Because I really want to know, and our listeners to understand who you are as a person, which will paint a nice picture for them. And then we'll get into, because we support women in all facets,
right?
And sometimes it's just an inspiring story, but I would love for them to get to know you like I have. And I would love to know more.
Okay.
So please.
All right.
Yeah.
So initially, when I grew up, as a young child, as well as a youth, and even some in my adulthood, I went through bullying. And I'm sure that there's a number of people that have been through that. And so in doing that, even though I had a very, very loving family, I felt that I didn't matter. I didn't feel that my voice mattered because of lack of acceptance. And so I was one of those kids that always tried to get A's in school and do very well. And so my teachers gave me praise, and I had praise at home, but there was the whole acceptance thing related to my peers. So in growing up like that, I tended to basically keep to myself and really get into my studies, get into music, into dance and the fine arts and things of that nature. So my parents sent me to elementary school with my little briefcase and told me I could do anything I wanted to do and be anything I wanted to be. And I believed them, but there was still that whole acceptance part from a society perspective. So as I continued to grow up and with what they told me as far as being what I wanted to be, and doing anything I wanted to do, I then began to, as I mentioned, get into all these different activities as well as sports. So in doing that, I became very good in a number of areas. So that also
What was your favorite sport?
Well, I ran track.
Okay.
And so I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Basketball, just a number of things too. But that also created issues with jealousy.
Yeah.
So I grew up being where I was actually able to do very well in a number of things, and eventually launched my own company as a kidpreneur, my brother and I. And
what was your company?
We helped with lawns, we helped with rose bushes, we helped with painting. We did anything and everything that people needed in the neighborhood. And so I really grew up in a family that was all about the give back model, and that is what we ended up doing. My husband and I, we've been married for 28 years. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so we have launched Full Color Movement International, of which you guys will be a part of that on this coming Saturday. And it's really just all about giving back. And so my show Soaring with Eagles is about that as well, about giving back. And we talk about the millionaire, billionaire mindset, but not from the perspective of making money. We talk about it from the perspective of what do those people do to give back. And everybody doesn't have that as part of what they have in their business model, but that's what we focus on. So my very first guest, I met him last summer. And we started the show back in October of last year. Big give back person, Frank Shankowitz.
Yeah.
And so when I met him last summer, I was telling him about the show and what I potentially wanted to do. And he's like, well, how about I just, launch your show for you, be your first guest? And I said, well, great, Frank, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And so we had our first show back in October. And I've had a number of big name people on, as well as people that are local CEOs and just people who have really great give back models. Yeah. And so I've really been thankful for that. We've had thousands of listeners. I think we're up to about 34 countries right now. And just really appreciate being able to have my voice out there. And so you ask, why do I do the show? Why do I do what I do? It's to have my voice be heard and to have other people's voice be heard, like what you were saying, what you do with women. There's lots of phenomenal women out there, lots of phenomenal people that sometimes get lost in the brush because they're so busy doing what they do that they don't get to come out to the forefront. So it's bringing some of those people into the circles that I have, where sometimes people stay in their circles. And even with John Shin with Think and Grow Rich, he is doing some revamping even of that, because you tend to advertise and do what you do in your circles. And so they're talking about some revamp for 2020.
Sure.
And I was on a recent trip to Japan to visit my daughter. And I just went around the airport and just did a little survey of who had heard of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the book, who heard of Think and Grow Rich. And there was only one person that I interviewed that actually had. And so everyone was not from Japan. They were from all over the world. It's an airport.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show you something that's just so in tune and ingrained in us, being in the circles that we are, that there's so much more that we can do. And Think and Grow Rich is not about money. It's about a lifestyle, and it's also about giving back.
I think that's wonderful. I just learned a lot more about you and your show. And, the common theme, and we just had a comment on Facebook, which is, empower your girls. And we as women at our ages are an example to the women that are younger to us, for me, it would be my daughters, my granddaughters, and it's our responsibility to, pave that path and show the way. And there's a lot of judgment, there's a lot of hatred, and I love your position when you had talked about how it molded you and affected you when you were younger. Was because that 6-year-old girl or that 8-year-old girl that went to school that truly believed they could be anyone that they could be is still in there. It's society, culture, judgment. It's publications. It's all the billboards. It's all the messages we get that tell us subliminally that we can't be. Right? But when you break through all that and believe in yourself and then believe that I believe in myself, right? You're saying, I believe in myself. I now want to empower others to believe in themselves, and I want to give back to help people, which is essentially what I'm doing, is live their best life. You're sharing stories of how the rich and famous give back to others, and how anyone, really, I would think at any income level, could do the same. Right?
And there is I have a book called Flint Out Loud. So it's talking about the fact that I grew up in Flint. And at the top it says that, some lessons come from where you least expect. So it's 11 controversial lessons on strategy, leadership, and success. Strategy, leadership, and success. So even though my parents were not using those words, I'm going to use this strategy to raise you and have you have all these different businesses. And I'm going to lead you so that you can be a leader. And this is what we're going to do, and we're going to define success. It was not like that at all, in Flint back in the early 60s. But when you look at your life, when you look at anything it is that has happened to you or with you or around you, you can use all of those lessons to help you be, a better person. So one of the chapters, I think, is chapter 8. I had a pre-lunch pre-launch back in March, and I'll be doing the Amazon launch and other things with the book tour and
was
stuff
just
later
gonna ask you,
this
yeah.
year.
So
but I think it's chapter 8 that talks about, tenaciously pursue the best you, tenaciously. And it's not just pursue the best you just with those words. You have to have the tenacious part. And even with Think and Grow Rich, it talks about desire, but not just desire. You have to have a burning desire for what it is that you want. So being an introvert and being, a person who maybe doesn't like being in the forefront, I'm pushed there often, and I am actually in various circles considered a leadership expert because of all the different teachings that I do. We have a Echelon Leadership Institute for junior high school, and college students to teach them global leadership skills, because there's so much in this world, and a lot of people have never been outside of their own city. And so leadership, finance, a number of things that we teach. And part of that, again, a number of the students that end up being in this program are people who are shy, introverts, and need to have lessons on public speaking and how to just present themselves and how to use your hands, how to interview and speak and just various things. And so being that basically that's me, a lot of people don't believe that because of all of the different initiatives and things that we do. But it's hard for some people to get out of that shell. And so having the show, having these different things that we do to help the homeless, to help in foreign missions and leading these teams in foreign missions. We've been to about 10 countries. We've helped and served like thousands and thousands of people. A lot of the people that come to work with us are people who have never done it before.
That's awesome. Krystylle, we're going to run to break real quick. So listeners, hang there with us because we're speaking with Krystylle, and she's going to talk a little bit more with us about how you break out of that shell and then how you can pay it forward and give back. So stay with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
All right, perfect. All clear.
Thanks, Monk. Sorry about that.
You're okay.
Late to break. I get so enthralled listening, and then I look and I'm like, oh, he's already counted me down, and I'm at 30 seconds, so I got to go to break. Hey, Facebook. Colleen, thanks for putting that little comment out there. Really appreciate that. And welcome all of our listeners that are out there. You guys are looking at the beautiful Krystylle right now. And then, Krystylle, what I'll have you do is go on to the video that I posted on Lead Up for Women. I'll tag you in it when I'm finished.
Okay.
And then go to the comment section and put all of your contact. So if you've got a book that you're selling, you can put a link to your Voice America show for how people can donate for this. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We'll give, when we come back from break, we'll give all that information to our listeners. And then we'll also have you put it out there. That way it's just all there.
Yep, no problem. That's great.
It's probably easier for you to do it than for me to take it all down and then try and go throw it in the, into the comment section. So
yep, no problem.
That way it stays there forever too. So anyone that listens to the video 2 years from now can click on those links, and get to meet you. So that's great. And thank you so much. It's so nice to learn more about people and sit down and actually interview them and have time to dig into their story a little bit.
Yeah, and I appreciate it too. And at the beginning, I was just trying to see, we hadn't necessarily talked if you wanted it more geared toward women or just specifically about the background.
Yeah.
So
I always want to keep it very organic and for you to share your story and why you are the person you are today, because I think that's important. It also, for me, I believe really empowers women to accept their stories because it's yours. And it's okay to not have the I would say maybe the most elaborate story. Or I had a friend the other day that said, everyone's got a rags to riches story and I have a rich to richer story. And I'm just looking for my rags to riches story. And I said, why? Why can't the rich to richer story? Like, you have so much going on in your life that I'm so interested in what's happening and I want to dig in more. And so I'm constantly telling her how don't try and be like everyone else and do it. It's okay. Like, you don't have to be accepted from a rags to riches, woe me,
and
story.
that's one of my chapters too.
seconds.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay,
mention.
thanks. Yeah. Hey, Facebook, thanks for hanging in there with us. Hopefully everything's running okay on this side. I've got my husband behind me. You want to say hi, hon, and wave to the camera?
You are listening to Lead Up for Women. Speak up to lead up. To reach the show today, please call 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to info@leadupforwomen.com. Now, back to this week's show.
Hey there, listeners, and thanks for hanging in there with us, and welcome back. You are listening to Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up, and I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and we are just speaking with the beautiful Krystylle Richardson, and she is here in the office or in the studio, has been talking to us a lot about her story when she was younger, and why she wrote the book she wrote, why she started the podcast Soaring with Eagles, and it's about giving back. And so thank you, Krystylle, for joining us today.
Well, thank you.
It's great
Thank you
to
for
have
having
you
me.
in the studio. I love Krystylle's story, and I was thinking to myself earlier, and I want to share this really quick with the listeners. You don't have to have a podcast to sit down with people like this and just get to know them. Mm-hmm. You know, take the time to slow down. I think there's so much worth in doing less instead of more, with taking your time and getting to know people, because I am so blessed to have the opportunity to interview women and men that we have on the show and be able to have all of this time to get to know someone, this hour that I just get to talk to them and have them share their stories and get to know them. And this is like a huge present that I've been given in my life. And I'm so grateful to get to know so many wonderful women and to take the time. And I'm just throwing that out there for all of our listeners. Take more time to get to know people. Put your phones down. Like I don't have my phone because my phone is recording on Facebook right now. And so I can't have my phone at my fingertips, and I literally have a conversation. Mm-hmm. And I love conversations, and I think we need to do them more. Mm-hmm. You know?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And people just want to be heard, right? They want to be understood. And tell us a little bit about, you have an event coming up on Saturday, so I definitely want to promote this as much as we can for you, and it's local here in Phoenix, Arizona. Right. So for any of our local listeners, I know we have some local listeners, tell our listeners a little bit about what the Full Color movement is, and then what the event is going to be and where you need help.
Well, Full Color Movement is the premise of it is actually Martin Luther King Jr.'s statement of, life's most urgent question is, what are we doing for others? Life's most urgent question is, what are we doing for others? And so when you put the word urgent in front of it, and that was many, many years ago, and we still have urgent needs in the world today. So it's Full Color Movement International, and we just do whatever we can do to make someone's day a little bit brighter. And so we do have a kindness movement. We do have where there's hundreds of volunteers that have gone with us various places, whether it's various places in a number of countries in Africa, the hills, the poor areas of Jamaica, Barbados, Bahamas, places where people go on vacation. We don't go to the vacation areas at all.
I don't think anyone's going to be vacationing in the Bahamas anytime soon. If you've been watching the news.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my gosh.
But we don't go even, to stay a couple extra days or two to go to the vacation areas. We don't do that. Yeah. It's all about service. And so we do what we call local and foreign missions, because everyone doesn't necessarily want to go overseas. Sure. And so here in Phoenix, there's a number of people who have modeled this across the country as well. So we have our Give Hope Luncheon, and this is just a flyer. I'm not sure if you can see this on Facebook, but we have on this coming Saturday is actually my birthday. We do this every first Saturday.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. The luncheon is every first Saturday, and what we do is we celebrate people's birthdays. We sing and dance around them, and just make a really big deal out of their birthday. Whether they're homeless or just needy families. Sure. There's clothing. There's luncheons that we do, and we believe in having a home cooked meal. I do a lot of the cooking myself because I don't want to feed anyone something that I wouldn't want to eat. And then we have inspirational messages and just a lot of different things that we give related to resources if they don't want to stay in homelessness. Sure. And so I am going to be cooking You asked what this
Yeah.
jar was.
Yeah.
This is a jar of peaches, and so I'll be making about 20 peach cobblers for Saturday
Wow.
to celebrate my birthday.
That's great. Thank you.
But anyone that would like to volunteer, you can go to fullcolormovement.com
Yep.
and find out the information there, fullcolormovement.com.
Yeah, I'm going to put that out on Facebook now. So we have it, movement.com. And then what else can, I hope I did that right. We'll see if it worked out. What else can, no, I did it wrong. What else can the listeners, they can go online. So where do you need the donations? Do you need clothing? Do you need food? Do you need money donations? And where do the money donations go to? Can you tell our listeners so they know how they're giving?
Yes,
back?
certainly. So we are, for this particular movement, raising $30,000 for scholarships for at-risk youth. I mentioned to you the Echelon Leadership Institute, so we do need funds for that as well as updated transportation. So just that small bit of $30,000 would help towards the scholarships that we need next for at-risk youth. And there's a donation button on the top right of the website where they can donate. It is a nonprofit, so it's tax deductible. And for the actual event, we're going to be serving about 200 to 300 meals. Now, there may only be, sometimes we only have maybe 40 to 60 or 70 people that are homeless that are at the event. But what we do is we pack up all of the rest of that and we go to the streets and parks and other areas that we know that there's homeless people shelters and make sure that we do at least 200 to 300 every first Saturday. So if they have non-perishables they'd like to donate or if they'd like to come, it's going to be at the gym at 2320 North 7th Street. There's a gym at 2320 North 7th Street in Phoenix. And any non-perishables, we're doing socks and shorts and backpacks and sleeping bags.
Wonderful.
Not all of the clothes. We already have a lot of clothes that we'll have for that day. So specifically shorts, sleeping bags, socks, and backpacks.
Yeah, so if you work for any companies too that may want to donate as well, this is a great opportunity for to ask your employer, if you work for Big Five or something like that, if they wanted to donate, because that's great to be able to have those items out there. I know we're coming out to help, and Robert will be flying his drone, and he'll be taking photos and videography. I pretty much just elect him for everything, so he gives back a ton and helps up Lead Up for Women. So
and we really appreciate volunteers like you that do come out and
do you need
help
volunteers out there? Or are you looking for anybody
that would like to volunteer, because we'll be giving out a lot of information about our initiatives for 2020, both here locally as well as foreign missions. So you can come out, volunteer, get some information, and just have a great time, because they need your smiles. They need, if you are into hugging, you can hug, smile, but it's a matter of just being there. Your presence just means so much to them, even if you don't give a dime. Of course, we need the money, but it's a matter of sharing your presence and your smile and being there.
I'm so excited about this on Saturday. I have it on my calendar. I'm really excited to head out there. So for all of you, again, it's at 2320 North 7th Street in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's this Saturday, September 7th from 10 to 2. So they do need donations of, you said backpacks, sleeping bags, what was the other? Socks. And it's just for all ages, right? For all ages. And but they're also raising $30,000 for much, much more for the people that are in need. So you can go to fullcolormovement.com and donate there. They're a nonprofit, so it is a tax write-off.
It's tax deductible.
So, Krystylle, thank you so much.
Well,
Was there anything else that you wanted to share? I know she's soaring with eagles, so if you guys go to the Voice America, which channel are you on?
I'm on the Empowerment channel. And that is
high five, girl.
Hey.
So am I.
High five for empowerment.
Yeah.
So it's on Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. And we just love to have you listen in.
Yeah.
Because we're actually talking, we've spent the last 3 weeks talking about the mind, various areas related to the mind. So a lot of what you discussed earlier, I think even before the show, is related to that. And even just empowering women and what I went through from a bullying perspective. You have to use your mind to get out of that and not listen to those voices. And anybody can do it, but you just have to first believe in yourself.
I love that message. Thank you for sharing that. And maybe Krystylle will ask us to be on her show sometime, because I would love to be interviewed on her show too. I think we should all cross around there. So all of her information for all of our Facebook friends out there and all of our listeners, just go to the Facebook page for Lead Up for Women and go find this video under videos. And she's going to put I put already the website out there, but we'll put the location, the date, a little bit more information about what to bring. And Krystylle will put some comments out there so that they'll be out there. And we hope to see all of you out there on Saturday so that you can to give back and share your smiles. I know, we've all had our times in life where it's hard and you just might be going through something really difficult. And I am of the mindset that you don't judge others, right? I believe there's one person, and unless you're God, there's no judgment that we should have on this earth. And if you were to see people through the eyes of the mindset of non-judgmental, all you do is just smile and have joy and love them. That's it.
Right.
Why can't we just compliment people that you have the just most beautiful shirt on today? It's so gorgeous. I love everything you stand for. And this world is not about, competition and climbing to the top and who's the best. And it takes all of us, as I state in our mission, is we all each have our own individual purpose. And my purpose isn't your purpose because I'm unique and I'm me. You can't be me because, we are only our own selves and we're so unique. And so the earth needs each one of us to leave that mark and to help others with what it is that we do so well. And then we can all band together and help each other. So I want to thank you so much for being here today and sharing your message. And it's just a beautiful message to share with all of our listeners. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
Krystylle. It's been great. So Krystylle's going to hang out in the studio with me here as I introduce my next guest, who's Katie Dalton. Katie, are you there, girl?
I'm here. How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Great. So Katie's in Manhattan, New York, and she's actually going to be one of our panelists next week. And I'll tell you what I love about Katie. First of all, she's just this cutest little thing. And but what I love about Katie is she supports females and especially youth, young girls. And she's a chair on a specific foundation that supports and empowers women through tools, the youth girls through tools, for them to love themselves for who they are, for them to keep their bodies moving, and for them to really just embrace and love themselves. And we know children, I remember junior high, high school. It never stops, by the way. Corporate America, anywhere you walk into, I could be on an airplane and someone next to me is judging the mom behind me because they have a child that's screaming. Unless you've ever flown with a child, you would never judge another mom flying with a child. It's the hardest thing to do ever, right? And talk about feeling alone and out of control. So I love what Katie stands for and how she gives back. So Katie, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. I'm so excited to chat more about Movemeant Foundation.
Yeah, so
such a passion project for me.
It is, and I have been supporting this. And there's some dates that you have coming up, and some ways that our listeners can be part of what you're doing and participate in it. And of course, we want to support in any way that we can. And we have about 3 minutes to break. So if you want to tell our listeners a little bit about you, Katie, just tell us a little bit about your story. I know we had you on a few months back, but I would love for the listeners to, maybe the ones that haven't heard that podcast, to know a little bit about you and what you do every day and why you're Katie.
Sure. So from a professional standpoint, I work in marketing for Broadway shows. I am the executive vice president of a company called Audience Rewards, which is the loyalty program for Broadway. So it's similar to a frequent flyer program. Our members earn points when they buy tickets to see Broadway shows, and then they can redeem those points for free tickets to see more shows or for VIP experiences. We have one coming up tomorrow. Some of our members redeemed some points and get to meet Jake Gyllenhaal after a show tomorrow. So it's
so
a really exciting, fun space to work in. I've been with Audience Rewards for 9 years, so joined the company at the startup phase and have helped build it into the powerful marketing channel that we are today. That's my work life. And like I said, I've been there for 9 years, and several years in, I would say about 5 years ago, I really had this, felt this drive to expand what I was doing, how I was spending my time, and find ways to give back more to a broader community. And that is when I found Movemeant Foundation. So as you mentioned, Colleen, Movement is all about using fitness as the tool to help teach girls how to feel strong, how to feel capable, and how to build confidence, which, as both of you chatted about earlier, really drives and impacts everything that we as women and as individuals can accomplish. So building that confidence is really, really key. Mm-hmm. And we focus on middle school girls because that is when it's proven confidence drops for girls in a way that it doesn't for boys at that age.
And I wish there was a silver bullet solution on how we solve that. And I just know that the stronger that their families are, the stronger that the mothers are as that example, as strong as the teachers can be. You know, it's just, I know it's like an epidemic, and it's something that, you know, I don't know if we'll ever figure it out, but I love that we have all of these movements surrounding to try and give them a place to feel empowered and give them the tools so that they can believe in themselves, truly believe in themselves, and how they want to wear their hair and what clothes they want to wear, and embrace, you know, confidence is the most attractive thing you can wear. It really is. And it takes us such a long time to figure that out, you know? So thank you, Katie.
It really does.
So tell me a little bit about, you've got an event coming up. We've got about a minute before break. So tell me the date on the event and what it is. And then we'll go to break, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about it.
Sure. So our primary way that we raise money for Movemeant Foundation is through a fundraising event that we have coming up on Sunday, September 29th here in New York. It is called We Dare to Bear, and it is an outdoor fitness festival. Primarily women attend, some men as well, and we all participate in peer-to-peer fundraising. And then what we do is spend the day working out together symbolically in sports bras, demonstrating to ourselves and to the world that our bodies are perfect just the way that they are, deserve to be shown off, and deserve to be celebrated for what they can do for us and how they feel, and that it's not about what we look like.
Oh, I love that.
That's awesome.
It is so great, isn't it? Okay, Katie, let us run to break real quick. I want to make sure my engineers here at Voice America are still happy with me. So we'll go to break, and then in 2 minutes, listeners, hang in there with us because we're not done with Katie. We have so much more to talk to her about for the rest of the segment. So hang in there. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
All right, good segment.
I made it. Thanks, Katie. That was awesome. Facebook friends, I'm trying to frantically put as much information out there as I can. And so, Katie, as you have time, go ahead and load in dates and links that maybe I'm not already loading in out there in the comment section of the Facebook Live. And then that way everyone knows how they can participate in audience rewards. I already put the Movemeant Foundation out there. But also some dates and some other information of how they can donate, and maybe a link or how they can get to donate either on your team or how they can participate if they're going to, be in New York during that time.
Yep, will do. I can share the link to donate. We also can use volunteers at the event, as well as volunteers who have an interest in I'll talk a little bit, hopefully, in the next segment about what our programs are, but one of them is a school curriculum. We can always use educators to help lead that curriculum for our girls.
That's great. Yeah, and let's make sure that we provide all of our listeners how they can be part of that, especially if someone is looking to give back. This whole hour is about how we give back. You know,
and I wish I had your program when I was in elementary or junior high school.
Yeah.
I wish I had it when I was in middle school. I know.
Yeah. You know, I'll share a little secret
talked
with
a lot
you.
about it.
I used to work out in like a sports bra and, you know, pants. And that was kind of like my test to me for like, do I feel really good about myself walking into the gym and working out or walking around, you know, that way. And when, you know, and I know we all have our own body image, you know, issues that we all somehow struggle with, whether it's, again, like I said, you're not skinny enough or you're not heavy enough or you're too skinny. You know, sometimes people are too skinny.
10 seconds.
Okay, thanks. So I that was mine. And if I didn't feel, you know, good enough, I would say, well, you know, I need to push my body a little harder. Or if I would be winded on a run, you know, I needed to do a little bit more cardio because, you know, it's our mindsets that the mental capacity is what will break first before your body.
Speak up
Right.
to
Bodies are
To reach the
powerful
show today,
vehicles.
That was yesterday's show, The Battlefield of the Mind.
9141.
I bet that was a good show. Yeah, everyone needs to go listen to that show yesterday on Soaring with the Eagles, the Battlefield of the Mind.
Now,
It is a
back to this
battlefield.
week's show.
Did you play that song?
No,
Just
I did
kidding.
not.
Hey, listeners, welcome back. You just missed this segment in between when you guys were on commercial where we were laughing in the studio and telling all kinds of stories. But I wanted to welcome all of our listeners back to Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. And thank you for being with us and hanging with us this hour. And this is all about giving back and paying it forward and how you can give to others and how that will enrich your life. And we're talking with Katie Dalton, who is the Executive Vice President at Audience Rewards, but she's also the chairman on the board for the Movemeant, not Movement, Movemeant, as in you're meant to move, Foundation. And thank you, Katie, for being with us today.
Thanks again for having me.
Growling. So tell us a little bit more about, you talked about how you're having an event coming up. Tell all of our listeners when that date is, how they can get involved in it, how they can donate, how can they be on a team, volunteer, and then all the other programs that go along with this Movemeant Foundation that people can get involved in. They're looking to want to help with this movement.
Absolutely. So our impact programs are focused in two areas. The first is a curriculum that we offer for middle school girls. Again, that's an age when it's proven that confidence drops for girls in a way that it doesn't for boys. And so what we've created is a curriculum that pairs moving your body, a dance class, some sort of physical activity with moderated conversation around related topics, everything from media, sort of body pressures, to nutrition, to teamwork and collaborating. And these are programs that our goal is to be in 35 schools this year. It's a really, really impactful program. And one of the key ways that we are focused on helping to foster the next generation of girls to really trust themselves, trust their abilities, and empower them to be strong women as they get older. And then our second program is a scholarship program. We call these Meant to Move grants. This is a program that is open right now for girls to apply. We offer scholarships to girls ages 8 to 16 anywhere in the country to pursue any sort of sport that they want. This is not based on sports achievement. This is really to support girls. They might want to try something new, or maybe they've never participated in a sport because they haven't had the means to do so. We have 30 scholarships this semester that are being funded by our partner, Athleta Girl. So we're thrilled to have them on board. And like I said, those applications are available now. So on our website, which I know Colleen added to the Facebook page already, which is movementfoundation.org, anyone listening can apply on behalf of your daughter if she's in need of a sports scholarship.
I love that. So if I wanted to get involved in this, it sounds like I can go on to the Movemeant Foundation, and there's various ways I can either donate money, I can be involved in curriculum. How do we get, you talked about being 35 schools, the goal. What could somebody listening do to help you reach the goal to get into 35 schools this year? And where are you so far?
Absolutely. Donating is a great way to help. So anyone who has the means and the desire to help that way, donations are accepted on our website. I also have a personal fundraising page that is tied to our upcoming fundraising event. I'll share that link on the Facebook page as well. And anyone who's local to New York or who will be in New York at the end of September, we also have volunteer opportunities at that event. And I think, this event and this organization are really, really personal to me. So much of what you said earlier, Krystylle, I really relate to. I really struggled with shyness as a child, thinking that I wasn't good enough or that there was some sort of magical way that I had to try to make myself good enough. And I remember I was probably 5 or 6 years old, and my mother put me on a diet, which was, I think, really a symptom of this culture that we live in that tells girls and women that our value is defined by what we look like.
Right.
And that's something that I think all women really have to deal with. And our goal at Movemeant Foundation is to really change the conversation around fitness and around moving your body, to move away from using fitness to look a certain way or to meet beauty ideals, and using fitness as a way to feel strong, to feel capable, to feel powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just have something to add to that. I just want to say thank you for that. It just reminded me of a story of my daughter. She was like 4.5 when we moved here.
Yeah.
We have 2 girls, and they're 24 and 26 now. She was like 4.5, and she came home from preschool and started running laps around in our house. You can go all the way around the living room through the kitchen or whatever. And you're like, what are you doing? And my husband was laughing, and I was laughing at first, but it kind of made me sad because somebody told her that she was fat. She was nowhere near fat, at that age, but somebody told her that, so she felt that she needed to run laps through the house because of what somebody said.
So young, we're just bombarded with that from such a young age.
Well, I mean, let's just think about it from birth. There's a curve, and from the time you're born, you're put on a curve based on your height and your weight. You are. From the time your baby's born, they're like, oh, they're at 12% body weight. What is that? Is this an average curve? What is this curve? So they're already comparing your baby to all the other babies that are born on where they are for weight. And for me, I remember when my granddaughter Peyton was born, and she looked like the Michelin man. Like, she had wrinkles and her, you know what I mean? And she had fat rolls on fat rolls. And I have to tell you, because now she's like the tiniest little thing at 5.5
my daughter's
years old.
too.
But she was the fattest, cutest baby. Like, everyone loves, I don't know. I love the fat babies, right? Because there's so much more fat you can bite on them. And, we are who we are, and we are exactly who we're meant to be. And that comes with a physical body that's different than the next. And we need to not judge. And I love this movement of just being happy with who you are.
I do too.
And not judging other people, because a friend of mine mentioned at a luncheon the other day, Andrea, and I don't know if you know Andrea from the Keep Smiling movement. She said she had a very good friend of hers, and she said, I'm a heavy woman, and I am this way, and I will stay this way, and this is what I'm meant to be, and this is what I'm happy being. She's like, I can go on a diet. I can change what I want to eat at any time. It just isn't appealing to me.
But she's beautiful.
And I'm happy the way you know why? Because she's happy the way she is. She wears this confidence and doesn't walk around, sad. And she said she had a very thin girlfriend growing up. And whenever, people would give her girlfriend a hard time when she would say she gained 5 pounds. And she said, 5 pounds on me is nothing. But 5 pounds on a frame that big, that would be like me gaining 30 or 40 pounds, to a frame that size. She said, so we need to remember that of anybody's size, anything that they're dealing with in their lives, we just need to love them. Mm-hmm. We just need to love them and accept them for exactly who they are, which is why I love this segment today. And I'm so thankful that the two of you are with us, because you do exactly that. You're working your life's work to be able to help others believe in themselves. I mean, that's what I do with Lead Up for Women. That's what this is all about, is helping women believe you are stronger than you think you are. You can have what it is that you want. You can be who it, that you can break down all those barriers and crack through the veil and really show up in life. And I asked this question, do we want to show up and live our life to its fullest and then know when we die we showed up? Or is your biggest regret going to be that you just never had the courage to show up?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I like the physical fitness portion of what she's doing, because it's not about getting skinny. It's just about being healthy and accepting yourself. So I applaud you on that.
Yeah. And no matter what size you are, whatever shell we're in, right? Our package that our souls are in, they're going to be what they are. And we can learn to accept them or not. And if you learn to accept them, and what you're saying, Katie, is we're going to give you every tool that you need to just be healthy and stay strong and be confident and be you, no matter what that is.
There's also a stat that I love that some research was done that has shown of women currently working in C-suite positions, so very successful women. 94% of them participated in sports, which is staggering. I mean, that's almost all of them. And I think that is something that at Movemeant Foundation, we really believe in, the power of sports and physical activity to really teach everyone, but girls especially, teamwork, collaboration, how to challenge yourself, how to fail, and then try again. These skills that you learn by participating in a sport, but can be really impactful throughout the course of your life.
Thank you, Katie. So, Katie Dalton, thank you for joining us today. Krystylle Richardson, thank you for joining us today. We just have a couple minutes left before the show is over, and I want to remind everybody that Katie is going to be in New York next week. So if you haven't signed up already, all you do is go to leadupforwomen.com/events. You can get registered there. The other feature that we have that's brand new for everyone that I'll throw out there in the comment section, but want to let our listeners know, from wherever you are, all you have to do is text LEAD UP. It's one word. Lead Up to 72,000. So text Lead Up to 72,000, and then you will be able to get connected with us and be able to access all the information we have. So we have some great, awesome curriculum coming for you of how truly you can step through life and learn how to live in your purpose. And we have so much more coming for you. We're excited. But next week's show on September 11th, we have a special co-host in the studio with me, Kristen Polkzolp. She's a body, mind coach and speaker. I have Angel Marie Shines here. I'm very excited. She's a speaker, author. She's also has a show with Voice America. And then Laura Kezalugazek, and I know I'm going to say that wrong, and I'm so sorry, Laura, but she is going to be here, and she's the CEO of Quest Workspaces, and she's going to be here because she's going to be at our luncheon on September 12th. So I'd just like to remind all of you that are out there, remember that you are the only you that has ever been, and you are the only you that will ever be. So show up and live the life you want to live without regrets, because it's your life to do with what you want. And we're all here to support you. Thank you, Krystylle. Thank you, Katie. It was a wonderful show. Listeners, we'll talk to you next week at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Voice America Empowerment Channel. This is Colleen Biggs signing off until next week. You guys have a wonderful week.
All right, great show.
Did I make it?
Yep, we're all good.
All right. All right, Facebook, we're going to sign off. Katie, thank you so much. You are just the sweetest thing.
Thank you for having me
listen
again.
and talk to you forever.
I'm excited to see you next week.
Yeah, so do you have access to the Facebook page to be able to put the comments in there, to be able to make comments for all of... Okay, perfect. Awesome.
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Thanks, Katie.
Awesome.
I'll talk to you
Thanks
later.
so
I'll see
much.
you next
Talk to you
week.
soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Katie.
All right, bye.
All right, Facebook, we're signing off now, so we're going to say goodbye. And Krystylle says goodbye.
Goodbye.
And we'll see you.